Hey Stephen, how you doing? I've got your work up here, and I want to make a couple of comments. And I think by now in the class, I think you probably know I'm a pretty honest guy, and I just think it's so honest. It's so important to be completely honest with students. Otherwise, just none of this even works. So my question to you this week is Stefan, is how badly do you want to beat the competition? How badly do you want to be the best designer there is? How badly do you want to blow away the competition, not only in school, but in work, in the studio, in your personal design work, in your freelance design work? And you're probably scratching your head saying, why is he asking me that question? And I want to just show you why, okay? I've got your presentation up here, and here's what we have. We have 4 pages. We've got logo, we've got this experience in North, and then your pictograms. Then we've got the ticket and the T-shirt, and then we've got a billboard. All right. So I want to go back in 1 week's time, and I want to look at what you turned in last week. And here's this week's, and here's last week's. Okay. There's last week's. Here's this week's. Okay. Here's last week's. Here's this week's. Okay. Here's last week's. And here's this week's. Last week's ends there, and this week's is here. So basically, what you're telling me is that you've spent a week putting a logo on a billboard and putting it on a building. And that's what I would say if we were here in my studio and if I were to say, all right, let's see what the progress of the project is right now. And in a week's time, I think that obviously I think there would be an issue if we were to look at the work after a week's time and say, okay, where are we? Where do we need to be by the time the deadline, which in this case is creeping us up on us right quick? And where are we now? And I would say I would like you to answer that question. Are we deficient or are we on schedule? Okay, and and that's all I have. I mean, I love the work. You know that. I've said that before. I mean, I got no problem with the work. You made this thing work, which is really awesome because it's just growing on me so intensely that I love it. But I got to see some work, man. I hope you understand. I'm not trying to be a D word, but I just really want you to understand this is how I would look at this if this was a true professional studio setting. All right. Thanks, Stefan.